give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, give a smile. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, be the reason someone smiles. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, give a smile. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, be the reason someone smiles. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, give a smile. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, be the reason someone smile. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, give a smile. Give a schmeichel, give a schmeichel, be the reason someone smiles. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. 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 Be the reason someone smiles. 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 Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Siva gedola, lio besimcha. Someone smile. Be the reason someone smile. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles. Be the reason someone smiles.
Breakfast with Elli.
Mode ani lefanecha melech chai vekayam shechezarta bi nishmati bechemla raba emunatecha.
11 months ago, an aggressor called Hamas attacked Israel, unprovoked, didn't attack the military, attacked civilians in the most brutal, atrocious fashion, which we don't even have words for. That just adds to it, but they still attacked. They took hostages, over 240 hostages, including men, women, and children, breaking every law, every international law, war crimes basically, with very clear intentions to try to use them as pawns and bargaining chips. They use their own civilians as such. So where's their basis for the call for a ceasefire? The call should be very straightforward. For total surrender, total return of the hostages, and furthermore, to eliminate any call for the destruction of Israel from land to the sea, or whatever the expressions are used.
Elul, 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 heilige Chodesh Elul, 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 HaMelech Basadeh.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with Elli. It is 9/11, September 11th, 2024, the 8th day of Elul. The Torah portion is Ki Seitzei L'Milchama Al Oivecha. It is fittingly when you go to war against your enemy. HaYom Yom Revi'i L'Shabbos, the 4th day, counting up toward Shabbos, and we'll be learning the 4th Aliyah. Today is the Yahrzeit of Yossi Piamenta, Oliver Sholem, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Yossi just coming up in a few minutes. What we're going to do first is, number one, we will never forget 9/11. It is the 11th day of September. It is the day when we were unceremoniously attacked, and a day that will truly live in our hearts forever. I will remember where I was, and it was a tough day. It was a really tough day. I will give you that. I do not have a video on it for today. Thank you for asking me. I do not have a video for today about 9/11. I can get one for tomorrow if you would like. I didn't know if you guys wanted to see something like that or not. All right. In the meantime, let us please keep in mind all the victims of 9/11, and please make sure that you keep them in your hearts and minds, and that we never forget the tragedy that struck us on this day in 2001. Yeah, it's pretty rank, I gotta tell you. Yeah. All right. Men and boys, take your two front scissors. Let's make a bracha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al mitzvat tzitzit.
All right. Let us now please hold on 1 second. Everyone together, al divrei Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al divrei Torah.
Everyone together now, Hareini Mekabel.
Hareini Mekabel alai mitzvat aseh Shel ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. I take upon myself every single day to love my fellow friend in a very special way.
All right, Torah Tsiva, are you ready? Let's do it.
Ay Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha kehilat Yaakov. Torah tziva lanu Moshe morasha kehilat Yaakov.
Time to give some tzedakah.
I put it in the pushki, the tzedakah box. I put it in the that's a tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else to keep. Yeah, I put it in the pushki that's a tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki that's a tzedakah box. I put it in the pushki for someone else in need.
All right, fantastic. Let's do the saying of the Shema. Let's go. Oh, what happened to the end of it? I'm sorry. Hashem Echad. Please say the same together with me. Hashem Echad. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. All right. Our daily Elul inspiration.
And this is the mystical secret of the pasuk in Tehillim when David HaMelech says, "V'chatasi negdi samid," and my sin is constantly across from me. He was referring to this force, Sha'adam Oiseh, that we construct. We are responsible for constructing this force. We don't appreciate how significant it is when chas v'shalom we give into that tendency, even if we think it's something that doesn't relate to anyone else, it's just in private, no one knows, whatever it is, it's a real thing. It has real significance. So sha'adam oisai dechet aimedes negdai lahatzer lai. We're contributing to the force that's trying to take us down, and we don't realize. And we don't even need to talk in the classical sense of chas v'shalom in the next world, what we'll have to suffer. That's much more juvenile, vis-a-vis the much more elemental and embodied experience of the fact that we construct our reality in this world. Poyel adam yishalim lai, that ultimately whatever we put in is what we're going to get out. And so David HaMelech was saying, V'chatasi negdi samid. Whatever it is that I'm encountering, whatever emotional blocks and whatever is preventing me from living a life of openness and clarity and positivity and so on and so forth, in a strange way, it's my own construction. It's my own chait that's negdi samid, that I'm constantly encountering.
All right, and now we had our shofar blast for today. All right, and that takes us to breakfast. All right, are you ready? Coffee and yogurt. Bracha shahakol for me. Barachato adinoi lahina melech haolam shahakol nihiya bidvaroi.
Coffee, blessed coffee. God bless you for being a friend. When the whole world turns on me, it's only you on which I can depend. I want to taste you in the morning and a few times throughout the day. Yes, a cup or two in the evening too. For me, it's the only way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I hope that was good for you as it was for me. All right, today in Jewish history, you already know that it's 9/11. I don't need to repeat that. Other things that happened today. Washington responded to the Jews of Newport. The sexton of the Hebrew Congregation of Newport, Rhode Island, wrote a heartwarming letter to President George Washington on behalf of the Jewish community, welcoming the president on his visit to Newport. In this letter, he expressed a vision of an American government that would permit all religions to live side by side in harmony, giving all citizens the freedom to practice their religions. And on August 18th, 1790, the president responded. The citizens of the United States of America have a right to applaud themselves for having given to mankind examples of enlarged and liberal policy, a policy worthy of imitation. All possess alike liberty of conscience and immunities of citizenship. It is now no more than tolerance is spoken of, as if it was by the indulgence of one class of people that another enjoyed the exercise of their inherent natural rights. For happily, the government of the United States, which gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance, requires only that they who live under their protection should demean themselves as good citizens, in giving it on all occasions their effectual support. May the children of the stock of Abraham, who dwell in this land, continue to merit and enjoy the goodwill of the other inhabitants, while everyone shall sit in the safety under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. President George Washington on the rights of Jews in America. Jewish resistance to Roman forces during the time of the Second Temple came to an end with the fall of the walls of the upper city of Jerusalem. And the Russian emperor appoints a commission to study injurious influences of Jews on the native population in 1881. Switzerland outlawed the kosher ritual slaughtering of animals, a ban that continues until today, and the Jewish community has to get its meat from other neighboring countries. That was in 1893. Can you imagine? That same year, kosher slaughter was prohibited in the German region of Saxony. Today, Norway also bans kosher slaughter, and other Europeans, such as the UK, have taken the matter under consideration. Sometimes these laws are anti-Semitic in nature, but couched in humanitarian terms. The issue is one of great sensitivity in the Jewish community, being one of the first enactments of the Nazis in 1933 was to outlaw kosher slaughter, an act of horrible irony that preceded the slaughter of 6 million Jews. All right. Elul is a time to have your tefillin and mezuzahs checked. It is also the month of divine mercy and forgiveness as we prepare for the Yomim Noraim, the days of awe of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We sound the shofar every day of Elul. We say Psalm 27, LaDavid Hashem Ori, and we also add 3 additional chapters of Tehillim. Today's chapters would be 22, 23, and 24. All right? All right. Yossi Piamenta passed away a few years back. Let me see if I can find the bio. I had a bio on Yossi over here somewhere. And of course, I lost it. Let me see if I can find it again. Here we go. Yossi Piamenta was a Jewish guitarist and songwriter known as the Hasidic Hendrix. His fusion of rock, Sephardic, and Hasidic music left an indelible impression on contemporary Jewish music. He passed away August 2015 at the young age of 64 after a long illness. A 14th generation Yerushalmi, a native of Jerusalem, Piamenta moved with his family to Tel Aviv when he was 12. There, with the help of his uncle Albert, a saxophonist, he was given his first guitar and developed his lifelong interest in musical composition and performance. His father, Yehuda Piamenta, was a hero in Israel's early wars. Following his own service in the Israeli Defense Force, Piamenta moved to New York in the early 70s to record an album with famed jazz saxophonist Stan Getz. Although only in his early 20s, he grew tired of a typical musician's freewheeling lifestyle and began to long for the traditions and lifestyle of his childhood. He moved to London, got married there, and returned to the United States with the intention of meeting the Lubavitcher Rebbe, whose teachings he had been studying through columns in a Hebrew language newspaper. I really liked his Jewish philosophy and identified with everything he had written, Piamenta would recall. I came to visit him in Brooklyn, and I was immediately hooked. It was an electrifying encounter. And here is a picture of Yossi with the Rebbe. We'll just get that up for you here 1 second. In the meantime, after meeting the Rebbe, he went home and found his tefillin, which he had brought with him from Israel as a memento of home, but rarely had worn since his bar mitzvah. And from that day on, he began a journey to fully return to Jewish tradition and practice while continuing to develop his musical style. Over the years, Piamenta received many brachas, many blessings from the Rebbe. After their spiritual reconnection, Piamenta and his brother Avi, who played the flute, settled in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York, where they studied their Jewish heritage while focusing the Piamenta band mainly towards a traditional Jewish audience. According to one critic, the Piamenta band forever redefined the face of popular Jewish music. Together with his brother, he recorded a number of successful albums over the years and was featured at the Sukkot celebrations in New York and concerts around the globe. They brought their original material to New York clubs like the Wetlands, Tramps, and the Knitting Factory, and continued to record and perform in concerts worldwide. In recent years, also performing at countless weddings, a mitzvah that they did gladly. Yossi is survived by his children, Jeannie Barakat, Tzipi Rush, Moni Piamenta, Yuda Piamenta, Rachel Piamenta, and Avi Piamenta. He's also survived by his sister, Chaya Mir of Morristown, New Jersey, Chana Lorbler of Kfar Chabad, Israel, and Avi Piamenta, also from Kfar Chabad. He's buried at Shamgar in Jerusalem, in the Chabad section of Har Hazeisim, the Mount of Olives. Yeah, a sad day. But I thought I would play you Yossi shredding the guitar and then one of their most famous songs. So please enjoy this musical interlude.
עכשיו נעשה מחרוזת של שירי חב"ד, ואנחנו רוצים שבאמת השמחה כאן תפרוץ כל גדרות. תשבושת מעליו יד תזרוק אוי אבל תשבושת מעליו יד מצאתי, ערב שלום באתי ירח. שלום באתי ירח. ויש מים עד יד, ומינה נפי הארץ, לפניו תרוצים, ועבר פלל החכו.
היום הזה הוא זמן שמחתנו, שמע את התפילה שבליבנו, ותמחול את כל עוונותינו ביום הזה.
I should also mention at some point that my son Levi was friends with the Piamentas son. They used to tool around 770 together. It was very, very cute. I remember that when he was a kid. All right. HaYom Yom for today, the 8th day of...
The Jews are an interesting people. We're different. Most nations, when you talk about the identity of those nations, it's got to be associated with a couple of basic things. So, firstly, a country, there's got to be a particular part of the world that all members of this nation identify with. And then after your country, then you've got culture, there's cuisine, there's music, all of these things serve as a unifying force that all of the members of this nation identify with. Now, we have all of those things, but our identity as a people, the Jewish people were born and existed before we had a land. The Jewish people is much older than the Jewish state or the Jewish land. And it's certainly much older than we were. I mean, we were Jews way, way before we were eating matzah balls and dancing the hora. So what is it that makes the Jewish people a unique people? What is it that defines us? Well, the great sages provide the answer. They say that what makes us who we are, that's the Torah. When did we become a nation? When we received the Torah at Sinai. Interesting. Now today's HaYom Yom takes it a step further. And here we're saying that the Torah is not just the secret of who we are, but it's also the secret of our success. The fact that the Jewish people have been able to accomplish what would appear to be the impossible, the secret to that is our connection to the Torah. The Tzemach Tzedek was once talking about his attendance at the rabbinical convention in St. Petersburg that took place in the year 1843. Now, this wasn't, a convention that the rabbis attended just because they wanted to schmooze and have a good time. The convention was called by the Tsarist government. They are those that's who convened this convention. And the objective was to enforce certain fundamental changes into the Jewish educational system in Russia. Changes that the traditional Jews were very, very much opposed to. And the Tzemach Tzedek at this conference accomplished the impossible. I mean, this was a tough government that was ready to use the rule of the force of law to follow through with these changes. And the Tzemach Tzedek said, no, we're not going to tolerate that. and he opposed those changes. They arrested him numerous times at the convention because he refused to accommodate and cooperate with the government. But the most amazing part of the story is that ultimately he prevailed. And when everything was said and done, the policies that were left in the educational system were not the policies that the Tsarist government wanted, but the policies that the Tzemach Tzedek wanted. How? How could a rabbi beat the government, and an oppressive government at that? So the Tzemach Tzedek was talking about this, what he accredited this success to. And he said there are a number of things, 3 things, but one of these, says the Tzemach Tzedek, he says it was in the merit of 32,000 hours that he had dedicated to studying the Hasidic discourses of his grandfather, the Alter Rebbe. In the year 1804, the Tzemach Tzedek designated a special period to study these discourses. He labored over these discourses for 30 years, 32,000 hours of learning. And then in 1834, he began the work to publish these discourses. And says that Tzemach Tzedek, it was in the merit of these 30 years of Torah labor that he was able to prevail at that conference. So, the next time you face a challenge, and the challenge appears to be much bigger than you and an impossible challenge to overcome, know, if you're a Jew, then your ancestors squared off with challenges far, far greater. And yet, they were able to succeed. And the formula that was available to them is available to you today as well. Make the study of Torah a priority, and then nothing is impossible.
You heard it here first, boys and girls and others. Study some Torah. That's the best way to... Torah is the best Torah. Torah is the best merchandise you could possibly have. So get on that today. All right? All right. 60 days to a more spiritual holiday season, day 9.
The journey continues, day 9, to console and be consoled. Continuing on the theme of sensitivity, this month of Elul is also called the month of compassion, because during this month, Moses went up on the mountain to beg for compassion and forgiveness for the Jewish people after their grave sin. And it is in this month when God revealed to Moses his 13 attributes of compassion. Yud Gimel Midas Harachmim. It's also the fact that in this month of Elul, we also read the 7 weeks of consolation, the Shiva de Nechemta. Following the saddest day of the calendar, Tisha B'Av, we began a 7-week period of consolation, with each week's Haftarah talking about different levels of consoling the people after their loss. So the entire Elul, we are reading these chapters on consolation. The message to us is that it is vital that we emulate the divine way of also being consoling and compassionate, just as God is compassionate, consoling, which is fascinating. Even though we're mortals and we're vulnerable, and you'd think we ourselves need compassion and consolation, yet we have the power to console each other. We have the power to be compassionate to each other. So ask yourself on this day, are you using that potential to the fullest? Are you consoling people who are in need? Do you seek out opportunities to be compassionate? And the exercise for the day, do something. in that direction. Console someone, show compassion, visit a sick person in a hospital, call a friend who is feeling down, or send a greeting to a person you know is lonely.
I can't think of anything more beautiful than that, right? All right. And that, my friends, takes us to a word from our sponsors.
And now, a word from our sponsors. PestProRidall.com.
PestProRidall.com. Trusted by the best to keep away the pests. We are offering COVID-19 disinfection services. Mention this ad and get 1 month free service. Visit us at PestProRidall.com.
Tarzane Group. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Go to TarzaneGroup.com or call Tomas at 305-440-0565. That's 305-440-0565. And order today. Visit Tomas and Yair at TarzaneGroup.com. Micro, miniature, and small orchids. Beautiful in your home. Go to the website and read Tomas's orchid blog. And by Dina D Design. DinaDDesign at gmail.com. Fine artwork, custom made to your specifications, logos, wall hangings, Judaica, and you can even have something for your child's room. Dina D Designs. Go to her Facebook or Instagram or call or text. Thank you very much to our sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor, please go right up here to where it says patreon.com/theactorsrabbi, and you can contribute even only $1 a month if you'd like, but that'll help us bring this broadcast to you on a daily basis and cover our expenses. Be sure to thank your sponsors when shopping and mention Breakfast with Elli when you're shopping there. There might be discounts. Thanks for watching.
Helping lots of people any way we can. Tzedakah is the Jewish way to help your fellow man.
All right, patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/new computer. If you'd like to help us today to bring our new computer to life, it's super important that you do that. Patreon.com/theactorsrabbi or breakfastwithelli.live/new computer to help us get a new computer, which has not been announced yet. We're still waiting for them to announce the new computer. I'm hoping that they're going to do that sometime in October. So scan this handy QR code, help us prepare for it, and let's go.
Torah, 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 Siva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Siva lanu Moshe.
All right, finishing off the overview to Parshas Ki Seitzei. We have talked about two questions. Number one, by what right do the Jewish people appropriate territory not intended for them? And while waging war is dangerous, the Torah forbids us to endanger ourselves. So an optional war is not a case. We are allowed to defend ourselves, but an optional war is not a case. So these two questions are actually each other's answers. The very fact that waging war against another nation is dangerous indicates that that nation has not recognized that its true fulfillment lies in submission to the divinely inspired guidance of Hashem's representatives on earth, we, the Jewish people. It has therefore defined itself as an enemy of holiness. Now, let's recall that voluntary wars are to be initiated only after the obligatory wars and their corresponding inner spiritual wars have all been fought and won. That is, after the Jewish people have successfully inherited the land of Israel, transformed it into a utopian model of holy living. If a neighboring nation witnessing this model of what a divine home on earth could be chooses not to participate in this vision, by accepting the Torah's rules of life for non-Jews, it has forfeited its right to steward its own land and citizenry. The reason Torah does not explicitly command us to conquer such a country, leaving the initiative to our discretion, is because only in this way can it be truly demonstrated that we fully identify with the divine imperative. If we have internalized Hashem's perspective on life to the extent that we are willing to risk our lives to promulgate divine consciousness, even when not specifically commanded to do so, this readiness is itself our mandate to do so. Now, as we know, the spiritual analog of conquering the land of Israel is conquering the diverse forms of evil embodied by its earthly inhabitants. This struggle is obligatory, and if carried out successfully, effects the changes in our personalities necessary for us to achieve and sustain ongoing divine consciousness. This means that the means used to wage this war against evil is the commandments of the Torah, both the prohibitive and the active, positive and negative. However, once this goal has been achieved, we have two avenues of further spiritual endeavor open to us, focusing on our own spiritual growth, ascending into more intense and enhanced states of divine knowledge, and focusing on spreading this divine knowledge outward, encompassing more aspects of our lives and the lives of those around us. Obligatory wars against evil are waged only on the first level of consciousness, where there's a difference between the land of Israel and the world at large. In other words, those parts of reality that Torah has specifically and explicitly commanded us to take over, and those that it has not. In contrast, voluntary wars against evil are waged on the second messianic level of consciousness, in which there is potentially no difference between the land of Israel and the rest of the world, in which the land of Israel expands to encompass the entire world, as we said earlier. At this level of consciousness, awareness of Hashem must spread to encompass all of reality, and we, ourselves, filled with divine consciousness, can reveal this divinity within all facets of reality without the fear of being affected detrimentally by engaging them. In other words, as long as we are observing Torah and doing the mitzvahs, we are protected from outside influences as long as we are divinely inspired and we have this conscious awareness of Hashem. Very important to maintain. All right. In the fourth Aliyah, more mitzvahs discussed in this section: maintaining pure and hygienic army encampments, impurity resulting from seminal emissions, prohibition against prostitution, lending with interest, and the obligation to honor the vows that we make. A very, very important thing is honoring our vows. All right. Chumash and Rashi with Rabbi Af. with Parsha points. Here we go.
Parsha points Ki Seitzei for Wednesday. Pain is involuntary, suffering a choice. Be nice to the Egyptians because they were nice to us. They took us in and shielded us from the famine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we have some other somewhat different experiences with those same Egyptians? Like one we commemorate all the time, the one with the matzah? Yeah, we know. We honor that, we relive it, and what we choose to remember daily. And when we meet an Egyptian, even a direct descendant of our taskmaster, we can choose to remember the hospitality they showed us. Even though they forgot all about Yosef and what he did for them,